My name is Johnny Robinson. I'm 26 years old and I've spent the last 7 years of my life, basically my whole working life, building cleaning companies. My first one was a window cleaning business that I got to about $65,000 a month using contractors instead of employees, which I eventually sold. I then took that, built one for my mom that's completely her business called Mary and Mop, was able to retire her from driving Uber. That business now does about $30,000 a month. And I now run Home Service Academy, where I've helped over 1,500 cleaning companies start, grow, and scale all the way up to some clients doing over $100,000 in a single month. That being said, I know a lot about cleaning. I've learned a ton throughout this experience. I've done the cleaning myself. I've hired W-2 employees to do the cleaning. I've had employees do cocaine in customers' houses, crash company vehicles, and I've hired contractors to do it, right? So I've experienced every angle of the cleaning business. And in this video, I'm gonna explain to you what to do and not do if you're getting started in the cleaning business, how to scale the cleaning business, and key challenges you're gonna run into while you're growing the business, and overall, just the most important lessons that I've learned. So starting out in your cleaning business, likely it's probably your first business. If you've run a business before, then you might know this already, but if this is your first business, it's a great business because it's gonna teach you all the key fundamentals of building a business, which you're gonna have to learn sales, you're gonna have to learn marketing, hiring, ops, etc., etc. It's gonna teach you all those things. And you likely don't have the skills and all of those things, and so it's okay to mess up, right? The only way that you're gonna learn how to do these things is by trying and failing and then iterating on what didn't work. Now, the best piece of advice I can give if you're just starting out is focus on revenue generating activities. And what I mean by this is the only thing that matters is sales. What are you doing on a day-to-day basis to drive more sales into the business? Because in a business, sales is your oxygen. It's your blood. You need it in order to survive. You need it in order to pay your cleaners. You need it in order to invest back in advertising to get more customers. If you don't have it, then you don't have a business. And so my best piece of advice that I could have learned is stop working on things that is just busy work, right? A lot of times new entrepreneurs will procrastinate on the things that they know they need to do because they're either scared or they don't know how to do it, by replacing it with things that don't actually matter, right? Things like, oh, I need to edit the colors on my website, or I need to go interview people for SEO, or I need to set up my software before I can start making sales, right? Or I need my LLC first before I can start making sales. You get the point, right? A lot of times people will just work on things to work on things when they know what they need to do. And it sounds easier than it's actually done, but I promise you, this is what's holding a lot of people back who are sub 10K, sub 20K, sub 30K, sub 40K. This is the thing that's holding you back, is you're just probably not working on the right things, right? So as an example, let's say you're using something like Google local service ads to generate leads and customers. Then one day it stops working. Well, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna sit there and hire more cleaners, or are you gonna try to mess with your Google local service ads? No, what you should be doing is focusing on another acquisition channel so you're not so dependent on one, right? Whether that's posting more in local Nextdoor and Facebook groups, whether it's reaching out cold to different real estate broker offices or real estate agents or property managers or apartment complexes or home builders, right? So they can refer you more jobs and you're not so dependent on just an advertising channel. Another thing too, as you're getting started in the cleaning business, is knowing the business that you're actually in. And this was a huge lesson I've learned this year with my business, Home Service Academy, right now. But as far as the cleaning business goes, I mean, we even learned this lesson there and didn't realize it. So I guess we didn't actually learn the lesson, but when we started Orange Window Cleaning, we were so focused on sales and marketing, getting more customers, and we would always find ourselves overpacking the calendar, and Sergio and I would have to go out into the field and get on a truck in order to fill all the jobs we would sell. And what we didn't realize was getting the jobs and the customers was actually really easy, because services like window cleaning, like house cleaning, are so in demand. There's buildings everywhere. I mean, just look behind me. They all need it. And so getting customers is actually the easy part in this business. And what we didn't learn when we were running the window cleaning business was that we were in the staffing and recruiting game. And so the lesson here is know what business you're in. Going into a cleaning business, know that you're not in the sales and marketing game. You're not even in the cleaning game. You're in the staffing business. How quickly can you screen cleaners, vet them, onboard them, and get them jobs and have them actually show up and do a good job so that you can continue to grow the business. Most cleaning companies suck at this, and your competition sucks at this. So if you can get good at doing that, vetting the cleaners, screening the cleaners, onboarding them, you're gonna annihilate anybody in your local area because they don't know this. And what that's gonna look like on your end is being really, really diligent about building a roster of cleaners that you can plug and play if one calls out or starts giving you problems like asking for more money or doing bad jobs and getting bad reviews from your clients. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna start screening 5, 10 cleaners a week, because you have to understand that in the cleaning business, it's a very, very low barrier to entry, low skill labor job. So naturally, when you post job ads to recruit these cleaners, you're gonna get a lot of people who are not that great. And so you should go into this business knowing that you're gonna have to sift through a lot of crap before you find your diamonds. And that's just what you have to do. The more volume that you can put out on a week by week basis by screening cleaners in your area, the more quality cleaners you're gonna find. And thus is gonna translate into more recurring bookings. It's gonna help out your marketing. It's gonna help your overall profitability, because you're spending money to get customers. And when you spend money to get customers and you send a shit cleaner to do the job and they do a bad job, well, they just burned whatever money you spent to get that customer. However, you send a good cleaner, they're gonna be happy and they're gonna call you back for another weekly, bi-weekly, monthly service, right? And that's the beauty of the cleaning business. If you do it right and you hire good cleaners, you'll get lots of recurring revenue. And so you should start to stack your profit every single month. You should start to stack your revenue and your profit every month. That we were constantly paying to get new customers all the time, and we would have these $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 months, and we would be so stoked because like, oh my God, we hit 60, but then we would start close to zero the next month, because what we didn't do a good job of was nurturing our customers that have already paid us money, which is a way better customer than acquiring a new one, because guess what? You already paid for them. And so again, going back to what I said about the cleaner stuff, if you're doing a good job, on top of doing the good job, you should be reactivating your customer list by doing things like texting them, emailing them, and reaching out via phone call, whether that's you or your admin person or your VA, calling them and asking them for a 5-star review or testimonial in a local Facebook group, or a review on Google Business Profile or Yelp or Facebook or whatever it is, and asking them if they want to book a recurring service. Even if they say no, it's okay, because as long as you're doing the emails and the texts to continue to nurture them, you're going to do a good job at reactivating and re-engaging all those customers that you spent money to acquire, which again, your local competition in your area is not doing this. And it's something that I wish I learned early on in orange window cleaning, because my focus was just always on how do we spend more, how do we get more customers. And as soon as we did the job for them the first time, well, I just kind of forgot about them and we did a poor job at reactivating them. Not only that, but the second, third, fourth, fifth bookings of these customers, everything after you pay your staff and your cleaners is going to be profit. Whereas your first job, you're going to be paying your customer acquisition cost on top of your cleaners, so you might not even post that much profit on your first time cleans. It's something to think about in the future, in the long run, for as you're growing and scaling your business, on how to make more profit. Another thing we did that lost us a lot of money early on was not having a way to capture customer information on our website. Now, we use BookingKoala for this now, which you probably hear us talk about if you watch this channel. If not, I put a link down below, you wanna get it. It's $57 a month. It's, in my opinion, the best booking software on the market for house cleaning businesses that specifically use contractors. And what this is gonna allow you to do is anybody that comes to your website, you can put a button pop on there after they've been on your website for about 2 seconds. It'll pop up and say, save 15%, 20%, whatever it is, as long as I get your email. Now, once you get that email, that's a new potential lead that you can send quotes to, send emails and offers to, even if they're not customers yet and they haven't paid you yet, right? Because now you own their info. And so you can market to them so long as they don't opt out. And we didn't have that on our website for, I would say, 2 or 3 years. And we lost out on a lot of revenue by not being able to send online quotes and capture customer information. Because believe it or not, all the customers in your area, not every single one of them wants to pick up the phone and talk on the phone. There's actually a segment of customers in pretty much every local market that want to be able to just go to the website and book online and not have to talk to anybody. And so you're losing out on that segment by not having that option on your website. And looking back, if I had to pick the absolute biggest lesson and also the biggest mistake that I see cleaning business owners make, even all the way up to the 70, 80, 90, 100K month mark, is not paying attention to what's called gross margin. Now, this is the important part to pay attention to. It might be a little boring, but gross margin is so important for any business you run, because it's the revenue and the sales you keep net paying your cost of goods sold. Now, in service businesses, your cost of goods sold is going to be your labor or your cleaners. Specifically for a cleaning business, your COGS, cost of goods sold, is your cleaners. So given that you as the cleaning business owner need to be optimizing for gross margin, right? Now it's a fine line because you still want to pay your cleaners really well and attract good cleaners with good pay. However, you also can't be overly generous with how much you're paying them, because if you're paying them too much, well, now you're leaving less and less and less of a percentage of your revenue left over to pay your variable costs, and also leaves room for less margin of error for operating the business, right? If you have to give a refund, let's say, or something unexpected happens, you got to pay a cleaner a little bit more, whatever it is, you're not going to be making as much money as you'd like because you're not paying attention to that gross margin number. And so your target should be 40 to 45% of your revenue goes to cleaners. If you can get that lower, even better, but your gross margin should be around that 55 to 60%. Now, that still leaves you room to spend 10 to 20% on marketing and acquiring customers if you're just starting out, which then will leave you with 40% left over to cover all your fixed costs. And the beauty of this business is that you don't need that much fixed costs to run the business, right? You got booking quality, $57 a month, insurance, 60 to 80, and then you've got your phone system, which is going to be about $25 a month, and then maybe QuickBooks, right? And so that should leave you with about a high 30%, if not 40% net profit margin, without having to do any cleaning yourself, without having to answer any phone calls. And it's something most people don't pay attention to. Most people will dish out, oh, hey, I want to get this cleaner onboarded so I can start getting jobs. Let me give them 55, 60% of the revenue. That's gonna leave you broke. I promise you it's gonna leave you broke. I've seen people make $40,000, $50,000 a month and be negative on the bottom line just because they pay their cleaners too much and their marketing's not effective. And so it all starts with the gross margin. The higher the gross margin, the more net profit you'll make. I promise you that, very simply put. And just so this makes sense, I'll pop up a screenshot right here so you can see what it looks like to keep your gross margins high, to keep your marketing within 10, 20%, and then also what it looks like on the bottom line. To wrap it all up, key lessons learned is know the game that you're in, right? You are in the staffing and recruiting business. Get good at this and you will crush your competition. Get good at looking at your profit and loss statement every month after the month closes, right? Whether if you do it yourself at the beginning or pay a bookkeeper for a couple $100 a month, look at your P&L so you know where money is going in and money is coming out. If you do this, you'll know what the things that you need to work on are. People who don't do this make significantly less profit. And again, do a good job at reactivating your old customers. You're likely gonna spend a lot of money to acquire these customers, and they can be worth up to $2,000 or $3,000 for you as long as you do a good job at sending good cleaners, asking for the reviews, and asking for the weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly reoccurring clean. If you do those three things, you'll have a very profitable, very healthy business that can run without you on the side of your 9 to 5, or something that can cash flow you easily an extra $1,000 up to $30,000 a month from what I've seen. So you do those things, you're gonna do a really good job. You're gonna crush your competition, and you should have no problems. And it's gonna be rinse and repeat after that in order to grow and scale it before you implement a general manager to run the business for you so they can just handle everything. That being said, looking back, I could have bypassed all this stuff with mentorship. And it's funny I say this because I have a coaching and education company, right? But genuinely, a lot of this could have been bypassed had I just seeked out the proper guidance and resources, whether that was even just reaching out to someone on Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn, asking for their advice, who's in my industry, or paying someone for their one-on-one coaching program, whatever it is. I wish I would have done that because it would have saved me years, because I spent 4.5 years building that business on my own with no guidance, no mentorship, wasn't reaching out to anybody, just fumbling around trying to figure it out on my own, watching free YouTube videos. And yeah, it worked, but it also took me 4.5 years, and I now see people inside Home Service Academy, even people who just consume our content and go on my Twitter for free, bypass the revenue we did in our first 2 years combined in their first couple of months, just because they seeked out the proper resources. And so if I can give one piece of advice, if you wanna go fast, go alone, but if you wanna go far, go together. And seek someone out who's already done what you're trying to do. And if you're looking to build a cleaning business, we can do that for you. Check out this video. It's a full course, 42 minutes long, on how to start a cleaning business from scratch and how to scale it. Very tactical. And the Google Doc in that video is included down below. Or if you're looking to just bypass everything and pay for coaching, you can check out Home Service Academy in the link down below, where we've helped over 1,500 people build house cleaning businesses and run them completely remotely. So again, those are both available to you. And if you haven't, subscribe down below, hit the notification bell for when we post next, and let me know what questions you have in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.